first down reception.
3rd and 6. Tannehill intercepted.
Great practical joke, Jim. Got me go to the annex.
NFL. Tannehill. Peterson. He didn't get there.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Oh, Lord have mercy on the Titans fan base. Jake, what? Jake, why? Just why? Not even how, but why? Why did this happen? All right, let's get through this. Not a whole lot that I care to talk about. I'm ready to move on as soon as possible. Titans take the L. 22-13 against the 1-8 Houston Texans. Now are we putting the brakes on the Super Bowl hopes now, Jake? I don't know. All right, well, there's a lot to get into this game.
Yes.
Let me start off like just saying this, Jake. We can easily blame the injuries. This team is so injured and battered and bruised thoroughly, especially on the offensive side of the ball. However, this game was still winnable, Jake. This was a winnable football game with the players you were trotting out there. I thought a lot of the players that, should be on a practice squad came in and did okay. I mean, we're asking a lot of them that just come in. Des Fitzpatrick, welcome to the NFL. Now you're like playing every offensive snap out of nowhere. This comes down to our boy Tannehill, Jake. We cannot throw 4 interceptions. And then, of course, Chester Rogers muffing that punt inexcusably. So 5 turnovers, Jake. You're giving the ball to the Texans 5 times, twice inside the Titans' 10-yard line. That's what lost you the game, not these injuries that are surmounting. That's my take from this game. Tannehill was bad. The one person we cannot afford to have a bad game and still hope to win is Tannehill. And he had a bad game, and we lost, Jake. And that's what it comes down to for me. That's it. Video over. Yeah. Goodbye. See you next time. I wish it was that easy.
Perfect.
I wish it was that easy. But what do you think, Jake? What
well,
do you think?
Off of the top, Justin, you asked me why. And I actually have a great answer as to why this game played out the way it did. And it was because it was a homecoming for Coach Jeff Fisher, and they were introducing the new Ring of Honor participants. And there was a bunch of Titans alumni back in Nissan Stadium for this. And, I think just Coach Vrabel wanted to honor the timely Titans tradition of just dropping a game that you have no business dropping. And to that, we say thank you, Coach Fisher, for all your great years. There were certainly some games that he shouldn't have lost that he dropped. So maybe that's the reason why, Justin. And also the reason why is because we watched the New York Jets game over again, if not worse, because Ryan Tannehill, you said it, 4 interceptions. You have the Chester Rogers muffed punt, and you could count a 6th turnover on downs, Justin.
Yeah.
Twice. Yeah. Yes,
we lost 2 fourth down attempts.
So it's technically 7 turnovers if you count turnover on downs. And we watched the Jets game over again. This Titans team drove the ball. This is probably the most frustrating aspect of the game, was that the Titans looked feasible on offense. The defense came to play. They did their job. Maybe Sands getting 1 turnover, but we can't count on the defense to do everything, Justin. This Titans offense has to capitalize their drives. They got past the 50, I don't know how many times in this game, and it just kept resulting in an interception, turnover on downs, or any kind of mistake you could have thought feasible for Titans football. They made it on Sunday, and they got beat. And give us the ass hats. I'm donning my ass hat because we were talking about how much swagger we had walking into this game. This isn't your old school Titans, but yes, we've seen the old school tried and true. Just once Titans fans get any kind of iota of confidence or any kind of smidge of confidence in this football team, they go out and play like this. And we've seen it twice this year.
It's just so deflating. I mean, look, we're in an okay position as far as the standings go. So, I mean, it's still deflating, like completely. Like it feels like the bubble burst on, especially with how the Colts are looking right now. And oh my God, I don't even want to go down that road right now. But let me go back first. I do want to say one thing about Jeff Fisher that you brought up. How we were honoring him to our Ring of Honor. And for those of you that weren't at the game, he's a funny guy. He's a pretty funny guy. So you remember, again, one of our drives that resulted in nothing was the Ryan Tannehill at the end of the half intentional grounding. Sir, what are you doing? You've been in this league long enough. You should know the time's going to run off the clock and you're not out of the pocket. And this is going to be a grounding. I don't know. But anyway, I didn't hear what Jeff Fisher said. So they bring him out. He's like in like under a tent, like somewhere in the stadium. And he starts talking about the honor. But before he gets into that, the first thing he says is, so before I start, I just want to say this one thing. That was not intentional grounding. And then he goes into the rules and starts explaining how it's not intentional grounding. And the Titans should have had a field goal attempt there at the end. So it's funny. Jeff has our backs. Even,
Yes, I was not a dig at Jeff Fisher, I promise.
Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't hear what his explanation was, but it was just funny that he just kind of went off script and was like, this is BS. The ref screwed us right here. But anyway, so thanks Fisher for having our back there. But yeah, again, I don't even know, Jake. I mean, what else do you talk about besides these 5 turnovers that the Titans had, continuously shooting themselves in the foot? You brought up the defense. We didn't record a single sack or a turnover, as you had mentioned. We did get a collective 6 tackles for loss from the defense. So it was a very solid effort. The offense kept putting them on the field. They kept putting them in terrible situations. And except for letting 2 Tyrod Taylor scrambles to the outside go for touchdowns, the defense shut down this offense, Jake. We shut down their running game. 38 carries total for them for 83 yards. That's 2.2 yards a carry. And then the 2 touchdowns by Tyrod Taylor. The longest rush they had was Rex Burkhead for 9 yards on the ground. The defense was getting after it, getting it done. I still like the effort of this defense. I think they played way better than what the 22 points they allowed on the scoreboard showed. Obviously kept us into this game, and the offense kept trying to take us out of it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of infuriating. And now I'm going to get into the injuries here, Jake, if you want to. Dude, not Chester Rogers, Marcus Johnson, you can't run a deep route without blowing out your hamstring. Now you're out. I don't know what A.J. Brown's injury was, but he kind of looked hobbled the whole game. I thought he did okay. He made some tough catches. He made some catches in traffic. He moved the sticks a little bit. No big plays from Brown, though, and then he gets knocked on the sideline and never comes back. So, dude, we've got Nick Westbrook-Akina. Shout out to him. I thought he probably may be the player of the game for the offense if he had to pick one. Caught the ball when it was thrown his way, over 100 yards receiving. But with him, we have Chester Rogers and Dez Fitzpatrick lining up for this Titans offense to go out and win you the game in the second half. And it's not enough. And then, not to mention our leader in receptions is someone named Dontrell Hilliard, who is like our 4th string running back, I guess. Henry, McNichols, Peterson, Foreman, 5th string running back, Dontrell Hilliard coming in. Played pretty well, actually, I thought. I think he dropped a pass late in the game, but well, what are you going to ask for this ragtag group of offensive weapons or players? I don't know if you can call any of them weapons. That's almost giving too much credit. No disrespect. Sorry, talking trash about our team when we should be criticizing Tannehill. I mean, they did what they do. They did what they could, but Tannehill just kept throwing terrible picks, Jake. Infuriating. Yeah. Infuriating and deflating.
And, okay, so to bring up this kind of, I don't want to be a Tannehill truther because he was awful on Sunday, just flat out awful. 4 interceptions, had a fumble. He could have had 5 turnovers himself if it weren't for Ben Jones jumping on that football. So Tannehill played terrible. But I am seeing some things that, maybe Dez Fitzpatrick ran a wrong route a time or two. And I get that. We kind of did this dance with Mariota a couple years ago. Oh, it's not Mariota. It's this and it's that and it's this and it's that. Tannehill was terrible, and he picked possibly the worst moment in time to have his worst game in his professional career, Justin. This isn't the Titans Ryan Tannehill we become accustomed to, and it's not even the Miami Ryan Tannehill that people want to cast him off as. He's never had 4 interceptions in a game before, and it came on a day where we were so injured that he's the only guy left, and he has to be the guy, and that's what produces those questions. Is Ryan Tannehill the guy? My answer to that, Justin, is yes. Ryan Tannehill is still the guy who can take you to the Super Bowl. And is our Super Bowl expectations shelved right now? I mean, if you want to do this again when the Titans lose to the Dolphins week 17 this year or something like that, it's all about getting hot at the right time. And this Titans team is resilient as hell. They have so much fight in them. And of course, Super Bowl is still on the table because look around and the Titans are still the number 1 seed in the AFC, Justin. It could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse for this Titans team. But they're 8-3. They have a tough game next week, and then they get the much needed bye after this game in New England. So there's a lot to be said moving forward, a lot of things to fix, a lot of things to clean up. No doubt about that. And on a rainy, shitty day in Nashville, Justin, I actually thought Dontrell Hilliard was the bright spot of this Titans offense. I mean, his statistics, nothing to blow you away. 7 carries, 35 yards. That's a 5-yard carry average. And then he had 8 catches for 47 yards. I mean, that's productive as hell. And he's the guy who was punching through holes. He was getting gash run plays, as you can see by his 5 yards a carry average. And what do the Titans do come 4th and inches? Again, on the Texans side of the field, they brought in Adrian Peterson, Justin. That was the worst thing I saw all day long. You see Adrian Peterson getting tackled at the line of scrimmage every single time he touches the ball. He did have a couple of good gashing runs. I will give him that. But for the most part, we've seen Adrian Peterson be slow to the hole, slow on his cuts, slow all around. He's met at the line of scrimmage every single time. And we have Foreman, who's playing well, and we have Hilliard, who was playing well. And we brought them out to send in Adrian Peterson when you need 4th and inches. That was wanted to make me pull my hair out. It was possibly the worst decision all day. And that's a couple of Tannehill interceptions into the chest of a linebacker.
I would have been okay with the decision to have him on the field if and we can talk about Todd Downing, man, but I mean, giving it to Adrian Peterson up the middle is not the call. He's the last person you want running up the middle in that situation. What you should do is play action. And we did that later on in the game. And I don't know if it was Peterson, but it was somebody else. But Tannehill kept it and ran for a first down to keep the game alive. And we know that play's automatic. So what are we doing running Peterson up the middle like that? He's the slowest ball carrier we have on the team to get to the hole. And and they stuffed us. And it was, again, just like, it was every single time that happened, it was just more wind out of our sails, it felt like, at least for me as a fan.
Oh my God.
I know that the defense played tough up until the end, but and these play calls too. I mean, Todd Downing, dude, that was just another seemingly vanilla game. Like nothing creative.
It seems like we have 5 plays that we run on loop. It's just 5 plays. That's all we have in the bag. I don't know if it's because of the depth guys that we have to trot out there, and it's a limited playbook, but it just felt like wash, rinse, repeat. Hopefully, Tannehill can make a tested tight window throw to Des Fitzpatrick in the end zone, and maybe we can get things going. Slim Randy missed a kick. It was just a Murphy's Law game, Justin. It was bad all around.
It was terrible. It was a letdown game, I guess. I mean, these losses happen in the NFL. We've already seen many bottom 5 teams beat playoff contending teams already throughout the season. Titans have now done it twice, losing to the Jets and Texans. It's just a tough game, man. If these games are tough to swallow with just how they play out, if the Texans came in and just like lit you up and they played with their hair on fire and were running all over the field and, looked like the better team, then credit to them. But to lose like this when they didn't even really look that good doing it. They look good on defense because of our ineptitude throwing the ball with Tannehill. But we were continually moving the ball. Our defense was shutting them down. These games, look at this stat. Total yards, 190 for the Texans, 420. Light them if you got them, Kenny. 420 for
after
the
that
Titans. Dude, we doubled them up in total yards throughout the game. Just way more efficient than them. We had more plays than them. The time of possession was pretty much even. They were even more penalized than us. They had 7 flags thrown against them while we had 5. I mean, we outplayed them minus the 5 turnovers. You can't. There's no outplaying
7.
anybody. Oh yeah, 7, including
if you count the
stuff.
4th down.
Dude, that's got to be like. Did we even punt the ball? I don't even know if we.
I
punted the ball.
I can't remember a punt. If I'm being honest, I don't remember Brett Kern ever coming out on the field.
Yeah, we either turned the ball over or scored one of our 2 touchdowns. Oh, I mean, it's like one of those Ravens playoff games that Titans fans always go back to when talking about heartbreak. You thoroughly outplay them in yards gained, but just not on the scoreboard and not in turnovers. So it's tough, man. This game was one of those you kind of had checked on your list, like, yep, that's a W. Yep, that's W. So where are we going to be in the standings in a month from now? But no, now the Titans have got to try to pick up the slack against the Patriots. And I mean, even if we go out there and we lose to New England going into the bye week, this team is going into the bye week at 8-4. And in context and how we've seen the season play out, it kind of is bittersweet. But at the beginning of the year, if you said, hey, by the bye week, Titans going to be 8-4 around the top in the AFC standings, you'd be like, all right, this thing is on. Super Bowl should be on the table for an 8-4 team, especially in this AFC this year. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, but you still need the context of no Derrick Henry, no Julio Jones, AJ Brown continually playing banged up. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, this team is still in a good spot in the standings, but just with the way you're playing right now, with the guys you have, with this offense that Todd Downing is trying to run on a play-to-play basis, where I don't know what we're doing. It still makes you wonder. It scratches your head. Like, are the Titans going to do anything this year? Is this going to be a special season like we had hoped from a few weeks ago? But we'll see. I mean, we know Titans football. They can bounce back. They can go up to New England and get a win, and we're going to be like, oh, maybe we're fine.
It's back on. Yeah.
There was nothing to worry about. But rest assured, Jake, I am avoiding football. It's just, it makes me sad to think about, and I'm going to tune in on Sunday. But right now, it's just like, sour taste. Did not want to drop a game. I wanted to go 6-0 in the AFC South this year. I thought the Titans had a great opportunity to do that, and they let it get away from them on Sunday. So yeah, we'll see where we go from here. But we got one game left, and then the bye week after that, and hopefully can pick up some of these pieces from this loss and still try to get this AFC South division, Jake, which is by no means over whatsoever. The Colts are now 6-5, 2 games back. Mm-hmm. I guess 3 games. Well, okay, 3 games back with the tiebreaker. Colts still got work to do, but they're not going away. They're playing their best football right now, and the Titans apparently are playing their worst currently.
Hey,
so
nobody's going away.
Start winning again. Yeah,
Colts certainly not going away. The magic number still remains at 4. You just need 4 of any Titans win, Colts loss combination, and you still feel good about that, especially with the Colts playing Tampa Bay next week. And the Titans still have Jacksonville and Houston left, as well as, Miami. But of course, Justin, this doesn't mean anything to Titans fans. It doesn't matter that we have the easiest strength of schedule. We'd almost rather have that harder part again. Let's just run that back and try and reel off 6 in a row again. But yes, it's all about context. And I wasn't too upset on Sunday. I know you were probably more upset sitting in the physical downpour, Justin. I'm so sorry you had to do that.
Rough.
Truthfully. But it's all about context. And the one thing that did make me mad about this game, Justin, was the Titans kept baiting you, thinking that they were getting back in it. And then it was a Tannehill interception or a 4th down, stop. They kept just reeling you along like, oh, we might end up with a win, even though we don't deserve one. And they just kept pulling the rug out over and over again. We said it right before we came on, but this Titans team was down 6 points with the ball 4 minutes left in this football game, and they had a chance to go win it.
Yeah,
Tannehill interception. So
hope had been restored at that point.
Yeah, yes, it had.
You always had the thought, Tannehill's probably about to throw another interception. There's that sequence. Talk about emotionally deflating you. just this 2-play sequence. I forgot what the score was at the time, but Nick Westbrook-Ikhine catches a sweet pass, a nice play drawn up, well executed over the middle, goes for nearly like 50 yards. And we're like, all right. We might just sneak away and pull out a win after this sloppy, horrible game. The very next play, Tannehill chucks one to the end zone to Des Fitzpatrick, and it gets picked. And I had you guys know Caleb, the old Titans Tube member, at the game with me, and he was like, dude, that 2-play sequence was just emotionally drained me. Like, we went from the highest of highs, and now we're depressed all over again. And it was right. Like, dude, taking the wind out of the sails, giving you hope, and then completely erasing it on the very next play. Oh man, it was so frustrating. The Titans had so many chances to get back into this game, and then a pick, and then a stop on 4th down, and then Chester Rogers.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the heck he was thinking. He ran away in the direction, like the closest to where the ball was going to bounce. He didn't I don't know. He took the worst angle and the ball bounced right on his foot.
Who knows? But okay, Justin, it's okay. And there's no need to even glance at the panic button. There's no need to get super up in arms about this. At least from my perspective, because the NFL is weird and these things happen. And this is just part of being an NFL fan. The Colts just absolutely lambasted the Bills in Buffalo. So like, I know the Colt different context, but when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, the Titans are 8-3, and they have every shot in the world to go up to New England and face the hottest team in football and beat them on their home field, because this is what the Titans do. When they lost to the Jets and all hope was lost, and we had the murderer's row. And what else did they do besides reel off 6 wins in a row? I mean, unless Ryan Tannehill goes out in Foxborough next week and throws another 4 interceptions and it looks awful again, then maybe we hit the panic button in the bye week and it's going to be a long 2 weeks. But all things considered, the Titans are 8-3. They still have a stranglehold on the AFC South. This squad is, knock on wood, come hell or high water, they're going to go to the playoffs, Justin, and we're going to have a seat at the table, hopefully with a healthy Derrick Henry. I don't know if the first round bye, the Titans are now going to have to fight like hell to get that first round bye, and it might go, to week 18 and that 17th game to secure it. But all things considered, this is a good football team. We're going to have a seat at the table in January. No need to panic over a Houston Texans loss that was it was a tsunami, Justin. It was, the sky opened up and the entire second half was raining. And I just felt this offense isn't going to get going when it's pouring down rain. And Ryan Tannehill's throwing 52 passes. Stop me if you've ever heard of a Titans quarterback ever throwing 52 passes in a football game, let alone in a downpour. That's just not winning football. Ryan Tannehill didn't get, the first downs with his legs, didn't utilize it. It was just a mess all around. But this team is making the playoffs, Justin. I'm going to say that right now on Tuesday, November 23rd. This team is going to make the playoffs, and it's all about winning 3 games in a row, if not 2, if this Titans team can squeeze out that first round bye. But they made it a lot harder on themselves Sunday.
We just got to make it. Just get into the playoffs, and at that point, you can kind of have your hopes restored with Derrick Henry returning to the lineup. This team's got to get healthier regardless. Man, and all right, so some breaking news on Twitter, and we get to do it in this video.
Oh, no, I do not know.
Titans have signed wide receiver Golden Tate to the roster.
Wow.
But, Jake, what does this possibly mean for A.J. Brown? Is he going to be missing some time, or are we just trying to add some extra help at the receiver position?
With Des Fitzpatrick out there running wrong routes, you got to get help somewhere. And if they have the space, the Titans have been saving I think $6 to $8 million just to the side all year long. They didn't go after a trade acquisition before the deadline. They didn't go out and sign somebody when the secondary was on fire. And so they've been saving it for this kind of move. A.J. Brown's x-rays on his ribs were negative yesterday. And I think he'll be more of a week to week, but they might just yank him out of this Patriots game and say, let's limp into this bye and just reassess everything at the break. And that's fine. And just when you think the Titans walk into Foxborough with 0 chance of winning that football game, that's when they win football games. It happens all the time, especially in the Mike Vrabel era. So no reason to be concerned. I like the Golden Tate sighting. This
He's
team
old, though.
is he's
How
old.
fast
He's
is he
old.
still?
We'll put him in on 4th and 1 and give him a wide receiver reverse to see if he can't hit the hole. Justin, that I didn't want to add insult to injury. We've had the Adrian Peterson back and forth dialogue, but I was like, that cannot be the call. That cannot be the call on 4th and 1.
Let me interrupt you here, Jake. It will no longer be the call. More breaking news. The Titans have waived running back Adrian Peterson.
Are you serious? No way. No way. Oh, my God.
We timed this video.
You kind of saw it coming. With Hilliard coming in and running the way that he did and adding that spark, Foreman 10 times more productive than Adrian Peterson. And Hilliard came in and was automatically noticeably better than Adrian Peterson, hitting the holes, slicing and dicing. So I hope nobody went to the Titans Pro Shop and bought their Adrian Peterson jersey, because that was quite short-lived.
Man. Yeah. If we win the Super Bowl, though, will he still get a Super Bowl ring? He was part of the team. Yeah, give it to him. He scored a touchdown in a Titans uniform. You know, it was sweet. It was cool for.
He's a Titans Hall of Famer. Yep,
is a Titans Hall of Famer, Ring of Honor. But yeah, no, the honeymoon is over now with the future Hall of Fame running back.
Unbelievable.
And I guess I'm still looking up other news. So Chris Jackson, cornerback, and Marcus Johnson has been placed on IR. So maybe it's more of a replace Marcus Johnson. This is what the Golden Tate signing is about. So, and then as far as Chris Jackson goes, hopefully we get Jack Rabbit back. And
you have to, I mean, this is such a banged up football team, Justin. I mean, I think Golden Tate's going to be setting the record at 84, tying the record for the 84th dressed Titans player this season. Unbelievable. What a world we live in as Titans fans, Justin. All we can do is look forward to Foxborough next week and see what Mike Vrabel can trot out on the field against his old head coach.
Let's see. I mean, I'm half expecting, Tannehill gets hurt, and maybe Phillip Rivers is going to be taking snaps for this team for the rest of the way. I mean, just a shuffling of of these old heads coming in and out of the lineup for the Titans to plug and play. Oh, yeah,
unbelievable.
Pretty bad week here. Bad week for Titans too. Bad week for Titans Nation. But you just got to look ahead at the next one and put your head down and keep moving forward. And hopefully we can get it done against New England. And this bye cannot come soon enough. So
yeah. Absolutely.
Season's not over, Jake. Thank you for restoring.
No, it is not. Yes, season's not over with a November loss to a divisional opponent. Let's just leave it at that. That's maybe what the title of this video will be called. Justin, do you have anything else on this brutal week? We have some new acquisitions. The roster's churning. That's hilarious. We got to break both of those tidbits on here. But do you have anything else to take us to the barn?
Man, I got nothing. I'm ready to forget about this week immediately and think about the Patriots and ending their winning streak. Our streak was ended. Now let's go turn around and end the next longest streak in the league.
I like it. I like it a lot. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Bury the football. Burn the game tape. Let's go to New England and do what the Titans do best. Have our backs against the wall and go out and just win football games, baby. Tighten up.
I love it.
And have a great week, everybody.
Yes, tighten up, everybody.